Hey guys, it's Will here, and tonight I'm going to show you my Eldar army that I'm going to be taking to the CoG 1750 tournament at 40k Gaming this weekend. And what I want to do is talk about the choices I've made, why I've made them, and how I'm going to be using this army. So here you can see 1750 points of Bieltan Eldar. And the first thing that those of you familiar with the tournament Eldar list might notice is there is no Wraith Knight. Now that is a very deliberate choice, done that for a number of reasons. Firstly is simply that I don't currently own the model. I would like to get one day. They are a bit pricey, but the main reason I haven't sort of got him is basically the theme I want to run with this list is an Eldar army that's a little bit different to what you might normally expect. So as you can see, they're all decked out in the nice green of the Bieltan, and then I have 6 units of aspect warriors. So this is quite clearly a swordwind army. You know, it's aspect warriors backed up by fast moving, hard hitting elements. And while a Wraith Knight doesn't not fit into a swordwind army, leaving him out has left me the points to take other things, particularly to really bulk out on aspects and give them the appropriate support they need to do their job. So yeah, I'm certainly not saying Wraith Knights are a bad idea. If anything, it would make this list stronger if I worked one into it, but at the moment I'm choosing not to run with it. The other reason I've not been running him is that I play a lot of casual games with this army as much as I do, you know, tournament practice and tournament games, and I just don't want to be that guy who is just like winning games because, you know, winning casual games by massive margins just because their army is super broken. So leaving the Wraith Knight out is a good option there. But yeah, certainly a unit that would make this army stronger, but not one you're going to be seeing in this list. So let's see what I do have then. So to start with, I have a combined arms detachment that consists of my Farseer on a jet bike, and then 3 squads of jet bikes. The first one has shuriken cannons, and the second 2 have scatter lasers. Now these are obviously a really potent unit. They're fast moving, they put out a lot of firepower, and they're surprisingly survivable because of their ability to get forward, shoot, and then nip back behind cover in the assault phase. Really strong choice. If anything, you know, I would like more than the 3 units in this list, but to get everything else I wanted, I could only really squeeze 3 in. And again, they kind of come under the same caveat in casual games as the Wraith Knight, in that you don't really want to be spamming too many of them, or it's just really going to become a bit of a crazy combo there. Yeah, for tournament lists I'd probably put a few more in, but at the moment this is what I've got. And yeah, the shuriken cannons are probably the scatter lasers are probably the stronger choice. They've got the longer range, they've got the extra shot, they're a really good weapon. But the one squad I have with the old shuriken cannons here, I have picked for a very specific reason. Firstly, this will be the unit that accompanies the Farseer, so the extra range is less of an issue. The extra range of the scatter lasers is less relevant with them because the Farseer's powers from the Eldar book tend to all have a range of 24. And so you need to be within 24 inches anyway to use that, so you might as well not worry about the extra 6 inches on the range. As for the extra shot, against a lot of common targets, most notably Space Marines and Terminator equivalents, the shuriken cannon actually averages out very slightly more damage than the scatter laser because of the blade storm rule. So I think that's a good little mix there. I know some people like to run all scatter lasers, and I think, yeah, if you've not got your Farseer, it's possibly the best combo. But if you're running your Farseer in there, having a squad with shuriken cannons works quite nicely. Now, the Farseer's unit tend to act as a bodyguard for him. I try to keep them at the absolute extremity of 24 inches and then duck back in the assault phase so they're out of range and out of sight of my opponent. Use them to sort of pick off shots and get the Farseer into range to use his powers. The other 2 units, they do that, but I will also not hesitate to turbo boost them forward to grab objectives as and when I need to, either at the end of the game or mid-game in Maelstrom missions, because they're just so unbelievably fast. 12-inch movement and then 36-inch turbo boost. You can get these guys across the board, and I've won games just through getting these guys on the right objectives at the right time. As for survivability, obviously they've got the 3-up armour, but if something with AP3 or better fires at me, I will jink, because I like these guys alive. And you know, yeah, you lose the firepower for the turn, but if you lose the unit, then you've lost the firepower for the game. So definitely like to go with jink there. Next up in my combined arms detachment, I have my Wraithguard unit. And again, this is possibly an unusual choice. Most people who take these are taking the D-scythes for the Flamer template. Personally, I actually prefer the Wraith Cannon. For a starter, it's 10 points per model less. That saves you 50 points off a minimum sized unit. And secondly, it has the potential to do 6 on the D table. It's true D rather than D-1. And in the last tournament I played this army in, well, a variation of this army, where I came third in the Ultimate Commander at 40k Gaming. Yeah, these guys were immense, and at least 3 games they blew up a unit purely thanks to getting a 6 on the D table. So I'm really liking the Wraith Cannons at the moment and expect to be sticking with them for a while. As for the sort of support for that unit, I give them a Wave Serpent to get them into range, because even though the Wraith Cannon is the longer range option, it's still only 12 inches. And the Wave Serpent is a vital way to get them in. I tend to give this particular one Holo Fields because they are the most valuable unit I've got. I'd like to give all my tanks Holo Fields, but I just didn't have the points. So this one runs with Holo Fields, Bright Lance, Shuriken Cannon. So it's you know, it can put out some damage in and of itself, but and even have a little bit of anti-tank potential with that Shuriken, that Bright Lance twin linked on the turret there. But its main job is to get these guys into range where they will just mess up anything. Now, the one thing they do struggle against is infantry, which is why, you know, massed infantry. But to be honest, the rest of the army really covers that quite nicely, so I don't need to worry too much there. Backing that unit up, I've got my converted Spirit Seer here. Check out the tutorial I did on the paint job there, because he's looking nice. That's in somewhere in my archive. If you search painting Eldar Spirit Seer, you should find him. And yeah, he is obviously stock, no upgrade, 70-point model. And I really like to run the telepathy powers on him as my first port of call. What I'll often do is take my first dice, roll it on telepathy. If I get shrouding or invisibility, I will keep it and take a second roll, hoping to get invisibility, and then get psychic focus for psychic shriek. If I don't get one of those 2 powers on the first roll, I'll just sub it for psychic shriek straight off the bat, and then roll on the Runes of Battle table to get the Primaris there, Conceal Reveal, which is just as useful as shrouded. It's not quite invisibility, but I don't want to chance the second roll on you know, and ending up with no invisibility and no defensive power, because some of the other telepathy powers aren't quite so good, but invisibility is massive. And this unit, toughness 6, 3-up armour, fearless, if it goes invisible, will stick around for days. Then moving on, after that brief interruption, I've got the main core of my army, which consists of 2 aspect host formations. So that is a full 6 units of aspect warriors, so 3 in each formation, all upgraded with Exarchs, and they all get +1 ballistic skill. They can choose weapon skill, but when you see the choices here, you'll see obviously ballistic skill is the choice to go with, which makes them really quite reliable. So to start with, I've got 2 units of Dire Avengers. Now, points wise, I would have liked to run 2 units of 10, but as it is, I've gone for 1 unit of 10 and 1 unit of 6. So the unit of 10 go in a Wave Serpent, and that's upgraded with a Shuriken Cannon under the hull. And their Exarch, as you can see, has the Power Sword and the Shimmer Shield on there. And these are a very flexible unit, actually. You think of them as primarily just anti-infantry shooting, and yeah, that is their main job. But they're surprisingly survivable if you get them into cover, or you've got that Shimmer Shield on there. Maybe get Fortune on from the Farseer, they will stick around for a lot longer than you might think and actually make a reasonable battle line. And the Exarch even gives them a little bit of punch in combat. Again, the Farseer kind of helps with that because he can cast Doom on the target, giving rerolls to wound with that power weapon. But these guys have actually charged into Vanguard veterans before and ended up winning the combat just through going first, having that power weapon and sheer weight of numbers. And, you know, the Farseer stacking the odds in their favour. Wave Serpent is such a reliable way to get them forward. In an ideal world, I would have had a second Wave Serpent for the other squad, but I originally bought a Falcon when I started collecting this army, so I've not had a chance to paint up a third Wave Serpent yet. So running the Falcon there, but that has its has some potential there. You've got the Bright Lance and the Pulse Laser on there, so it can do some reasonable anti-tank and also popping independent characters. What's often happened with these guys here, these two squads and these two, is you've got a hard Space Marine character in a unit with a 2+ save. These guys have mowed down the infantry, but then they just can't quite get around the 2+4+ on the captain. So the captain's been left out on his own because all the tactical marines have been shot dead, or assault marines or veterans, whatever they are. And then the Falcon has swung in there with the Bright Lance Pulse Laser combo and cleaned up on the character because instant death. So yeah, second squad is the same loadout as the first, but just 6 guys. And these guys sort of form the main, these two squads form like the main battle line, as it were. You know, try to get them onto objectives, engaging the opponent, still at long range ideally. 18-inch range on there is nice and handy, and battle focusing to keep that distance up. But they'll, you know, really engage the opponent and are surprisingly effective for 13-point guys at just mowing down infantry, even particularly tough infantry, because of the pseudo-rending on there. Now, the other thing these guys once did was in a tournament, I actually killed a Tau, what's that big thing, the Storm Surge, the super heavy. It got forward, which I think apparently is the thing to do with them, but I don't see why, because they've got such long range and such firepower, you want to stick them back. But yeah, it got forward into range of these guys, and then backed up by the Warp Spiders over there, just shredded it. You know, 6s ignoring armour is just so good on them. Such a nice battle line unit, and I could totally see myself one day running 3 squads of 10 to make the Avenger Shrine formation. That would be cool. And I got my Warp Spiders. Recently got a second unit of these guys because they do really well. Again, primarily anti-infantry, but particularly good for picking off isolated targets and things that are kind of trying to stay away from the main battle line because they've got that deep strike. And then just generally being really annoying. Strength 6 can hurt light vehicles. You've got the pseudo-rending on there, so they'll mince armoured troops. And then they just flicker jump away if you try and shoot them. And, you know, just turn up in a random position at the end of the game and claim an objective. 2 units that I've found work really well, and certainly intend to be sticking with those. Then my final 2 aspects are very sort of niche. I kind of keep them around because they do a very specific job, even though they're perhaps not the most points efficient way to do it. They do the job very well. So first we've got the Dark Reapers. Now I used to run 5 on these, but I cut 1 to save the points because it doesn't, you know, one guy doesn't seem to affect the actual survivability of the squad very often. Either they get left alone or they get shot down in 1 turn. Of late that tends to be more the latter, and they are a little bit on probation in this list. I honestly could see myself dropping them in favour of something else because there are a lot of points. And what's been happening a lot is I've been a little too forward with them, or I've got deep striked on and they've just been killed before they've done anything. But when they work, they've got the Star Shot and the Star Swarm missiles on there, so they do anti-heavy infantry or anti-vehicle, anti-monster. And then with their Reaper rangefinders and all their special rules, they're a pretty good emergency anti-flyer unit as well. So they are still getting included primarily to deal with those flyers and to deal with monsters. Sorry, just had to move rooms there, something came up. But yeah, so the final aspect unit I've got here is the Swooping Hawks. Now these do a couple of very specific jobs in my list. Firstly, their ability to perfect deep strike is amazing for objective grabbing, particularly when you add into that the 18-inch jump pack move they can do. So that's really solid for that. They kind of help out with anti-infantry a little bit as well, with their grenade packs and their las blasters. Got 3 shots in this edition, which is nice. Still only strength 3 though. And the other thing is they can actually do as emergency anti-vehicle or anti-flyer. They can haywire grenade vehicles. Took 3 hull points off an Imperial Knight in the last tournament with these guys, and managed to bail my Wraith Guard out when they got stuck in combat with an Honour Guard Dune Crawler. Managed to haywire that to death. But also their ability to jump over flyers. I've only ever pulled it off once, but when it works it's really nice just to be like, yeah, my infantry just assaulted your flyer in the movement phase and haywired it. Sorry. So they're a fun little unit, and certainly well worth including. Can cover quite a few different situations. So yeah, that's my my Biltan Eldar army, with all the aspects. It's not the perfect tournament army, but it's a really nice balance from my point of view of an army that looks really nice, an army that fits the fluff and is the units I want to play, and also an army that has some good strength to it and a lot of tactical flexibility. You know, it's got the speed to respond to situations. If played right, it's got a surprising amount of resilience, and I think I've got the balance roughly right of anti-tank to anti-infantry. Something when I first started playing Eldar, I tended to not have enough anti-tanks. Not that Eldar don't have it, it's just they have so many cool anti-infantry options. You know, you've got the Dire Revengers, the Shuriken Cannons on the Wave Serpents and the Serpent Shields, the Jet Bikes, the Warp Spiders. They're all great for dealing with infantry. Some of them, like the Spiders and the Jet Bikes, can also do light anti-tank, but for a little while I was struggling with heavy tanks, which is why I stuck in the Wraith Guard, who are great against sort of heavy armour, walkers, monsters, super heavies, all that kind of stuff. They'll just smash through that. The Reapers give me a little bit of anti-vehicle coverage, as do the Hawks to an extent, while both of those units can still handle infantry. So overall, I think I've got a good balance to this. I'm looking forward to playing this in the CoG tournament, which is actually tomorrow as I'm filming this. I might not actually get this uploaded before then, but yeah, certainly worth a look. I'll let you know how the tournament goes. Planning to have my camera there and record my progress, do another tournament report like the one I did before. If you want to see my previous one from Ultimate Commander, then I'll stick a link in the description to that. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Look out for this army in future on the channel. I'm going to be evolving it with time, adding more stuff, changing stuff. But for now, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.